particular look that she gets when she's like ready to like fuck my face, right?
And she just came home from work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she had that look on her face, right? And I said to her, you wanna do this? She goes, yeah.
We have time.
We have time. She looked at the watch. We have time. And she just, came out, cuffed me, sat me down, fucked my face, sat on my face, fucked my face, and then blew me. And I had like this incredible energetic orgasm.
Yeah, that was cool.
Which
we haven't done that orally
my whole body is just like fucking shaking, and I'm just like, it's pretty cool. That's where we were. Yeah, right before the show.
See, relationship goals for everybody. This is Nicholas Tanek, your kinky friends, and wow. Oh, seriously, when I say relationship goals, I mean it. This is a couple that you long to be like. You could find love. You could find love. You don't have to be the lonely man at the munch or the sad guy at the gangbang. You know what I mean? Seriously, this is Saffer Master.
Saffer
Master and Lady Petra.
Yeah.
And they are from
Seattle.
The Kinky Cocktail Hour. They have a podcast called the Kinky Cocktail Hour. I listen to this. It's great. It's great. It's the fetishes that they talk about are diverse. You could get some good recipes from cocktails too, as well.
It's true.
As well. So, just like a cocktail hour and just like this, real kinky people hanging out, talking. Please welcome Saffer Master and Lady Petra. Say hi.
Hi. Nice to see everybody.
So what's going on? Oh, you just told us what's going on. Tell us about Kinky Cocktail Hour.
Yeah.
How did that start?
The Kinky Cocktail Hour.
What were the seeds of inspiration for that?
Yeah. So we started living together in a 24/7 total power exchange. And
you were the dom, right?
I was the dom, yeah. She was pretty new to kink. And
that's always
fun. We used to have like hot scenes, right?
Yeah.
And then we would sit down and debrief because I wanted to like help her work through what she experienced and how to make kink better for both of us, right? Because we're in a relationship. So it wasn't just about me getting my rocks off or her getting her rocks off, but we wanted to, we actually created a relationship with a kink forward, sex forward context. That's our context.
Right.
And so we would debrief every day. And, she's a mixologist and a sommelier. And so to debrief, she would make a cocktail. And so we'd be sitting there holding hands, talking about, the spanking or the this or the that, whatever the scene was. And we would have these really deep, interesting explorations of relationship and human, just being human and human sexuality. And after about, I don't know, a year of that, we said, we kept saying, this is a great conversation. We should record it, right? And then one day I just took my iPhone out and I stuck it between us and we started recording the conversations. And at the same time, I was like, we might as well podcast. Everyone's podcasting.
Doesn't hurt.
Doesn't look that complicated.
It was COVID time.
So... Well, before COVID. We actually started before COVID.
Yeah.
But soon after we started, COVID hit and then we were home. And so we were scening every day and debriefing every day. So we were podcasting every day. So for like the year of COVID, we basically fucked and podcasted. That's what we did.
That's so true.
But we had these amazing conversations, right? Like about
of our own growth and journey in kink, which was like super awesome because we're just now going back and re-listening to some of these.
They're amazing conversations.
It's pretty amazing to hear yourself where you are now and then go back and listen to what you were thinking then. It's amazing.
Yeah, that first season, that first few 100 or so episodes, we really got into all aspects of being, dominance, submission, responsibility, authenticity, nothing wrong, integrity. We had a lot of conversations of that ilk in that first period because we'd both come from 30-year marriages where none of that shit was happening, right?
Yeah,
I was kink shamed, she was abused. So we got to experience relationship as a new construct. We created our relationship newly from nothing.
Yeah.
That was the idea. And so we had to talk about it to create it. You can't just have a relationship. You got to actually talk about it. And we like to say that our kink is really communication. That's really our kink.
Yes.
Right?
It's totally our kink.
Yeah.
Number one kink.
Yeah.
And the same with me. I get high or I get drunk off the communication of
Yeah.
it,
Right.
you know, putting the bond in bondage, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Exactly.
love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. That's
So
great.
that's how it got started. Yeah.
So you started podcasting. When did you know, like, what episode did you, like, when you were doing it, did you know, like, I think we got something here?
So that's actually a great question. You know,
Great question.
so for the first like 2 weeks, we watched the downloads happening, right?
Oh
And there
my
would be
God,
like 5
that's so-
downloads or 10 downloads.
We were
and
thinking maybe 10 people would listen to
Yeah.
us.
and then one day there was like 1,000 downloads. We're like, oh,
What happened?
people are listening to this. And like, we better like clean up. We had to get a microphone. You know, we had to like make it so that it was actually like listenable because the quality
But we're
was really
still
shit.
definitely a gorilla pod.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But it was early. It was pretty early, you know, because what happened was we had a bunch of episodes around relationship. And then we looked at each other and we were like, well, we're out of content.
We're done
We've
talking.
we voted it all out, right?
We said everything we need to say.
And so I was like, well, maybe we should interview podcasters to see, you know, what they're up to.
Or other Kinksters.
So I reached out to this guy, Mako, who has a podcast called The Big Little Podcast. And when I talked to him, he said, oh, I'm so glad you reached out to me because I've been listening to your podcast. And I was like, holy shit, you know? And so that's when we realized we had something. When we heard from authentic, like
Large downloaded.
yeah,
Like
well,
he had 500,000 or something.
800,000 downloads. Yeah. He's an authority figure in the kink podcast community. And he said to me, I love your podcast. It's so great. And I was like, oh yeah. Okay.
And he's like full on studio. He's all IT. He knows how to make it all special. And we're just like, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm the same way. It's also a thing about, you know, there's money gets involved, and also when, you know, you want to think of who you're putting out, like, you know, who are you celebrating? They're like, you know, you have a platform, and who are you giving that platform to, and what are they saying? So it becomes a responsibility.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, our responsibility comes down to this. Like, we want to hear from you as an authentic, self-expressed kinkster. We want to know your journey. We want to know, because we're about demystifying kink and sex, right? So the only way that can happen is if you talk to adults about kink and sex. So I want
What they're up to.
Yeah. So I want to know what
Openly.
the fuck you're up to. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's really interesting about the kink community, you know, talking to people either online or at parties or something like that. You know, the average person, the average vanilla person, if they just like kind of walk through that party, or they walk through that, or just hear a little bit of that conversation, they're like, what the hell is going on? Like, what the hell are they talking about?
True.
That's why when I post interviews, and when I post this interview, I'm gonna lead it in with one of your quotes. So you're gonna say something, that's how I'm gonna promote it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's the communication that I find great joy in that. You know,
Yeah.
we agree.
We do
hearing
too.
people talking, real people talking, about
Living it.
their
Yeah.
life. So okay, you're I need to get to the questions yet. All right. Okay, you talked about guests. You have a favorite episode. So personal kinks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Personal kinks.
Well,
Yeah.
you have to talk about how we're aligned.
First of all, Lady Petra.
Yes.
Let's start with you.
Okay. So I'm a masochist for sure, but I'm more of an endorphin slut than anything. And an endurance slut, I think, in the sense of, with my masochism, I want, you know, on a normal, like everyday scene after work, it's upwards of 5 to 1,000 strokes, basically. That allows me to get my hormones set for the day, so I have that happy feeling till the next day, right? Basically. So that's like where I land. Then, you know, I'm into all kinds of things because I'm adventurous. So I don't have that many limits. I mean, it's easier to say my limits than say what I'm into. I mean, like, I don't like ABDL. I'm not into scat. I'm not into blood or guns or knives. It must be consensual. And in our belief, even consent, non-consent is still, if you're ethical about it, it's consensual because you have to plan that. You don't just kidnap someone and rape them, basically, because that's called rape or assault. So the idea is, and truly our limits align. That's what's so uncanny. I mean, that's why we're together, is that you want that overlap of your fetishes and kinks to come closer together, because then you have more play that you can do together. But I mean, I'm traditionally a masochist. I mean, that's a big part of me. And then, of course, all the ways you have sex, I do all that anyway, but that's not my major thing. It's the masochism that's huge.
Yeah.
Did you ever see it's a documentary, it's called Sick. And
No.
oh yeah, it's about a masochist. He did like artwork for Nine Inch Nails, and basically the guy he passed away, but he had tumors all over his body, I believe.
Wow.
And so he was in constant pain, and he found it's this very odd but touching love story. He found a woman who was a sadist, and they do the most brutal stuff you can imagine, and so he basically took the pain that he was born with, basically, and he used it to I guess to survive, and then he it turned into enjoy it, just like we were talking about off camera. Lynn used the pain of like jealousy and the to where she used it and own being cheated on, and like she would get turned on and by me being with other women. You know what I mean? It's wild how that works.
It's amazing.
Well, kink is very therapeutic, right?
So that's how your kink started. But now you're leaning towards the dominant
So
side?
I'm still both, because I'm still his
collared
slut.
Okay.
However, we are experiencing, because I've always been a switch. I mean, without defining, even when I was kneeling from in the beginning, when I was being collared and that kind of thing, claimed, in my professional life, I'm a dominant. Like, there's no question I'm a dominant. But in my private life, I would come home and want to be in my submissive, my love language was submissive. So even as a dominant now, as I explore that as a sexual creature, I'm a sensual sadist. It's interesting to be on the other side of the fence and then just get what I want when I want it. And he's an eager toy. And
me too.
What's interesting is, because we're so aligned, the thing that's been difficult was navigating when we choose to move on the other side of the slash. And how do we do that? We had tried it early on where we would do it within a scene, like switch in a scene. And for us, because of the depths that we go when we drop or go up into dom space, it didn't work. It made it feel segmented. But when we actually created clear lines with, today I'm a mistress. And so what do we do? So like, as his submissive, we have daily tasks. I do. And so I wear a butt plug when I'm away from him at work, and I send him a picture of the butt plug and I write him a love note, and he wakes up to that. He checks in with me. I says, good morning. I send him a picture of the butt plug that I'm, owned and I'm property, basically. And then he'll ask me where my headspace is. How do I feel? Is my mistress here today, or do I need some, right? And so then we just start our foreplay at 6 a.m. And then that's how we continue until we meet up for scene.
Yeah.
And it's pretty phenomenal.
She was always dominant, even when she was submissive, she was dominant. And I remember,
because I did tell you things.
She did. I remember when, she was with me for like 24 hours. She says, okay, so what if I want to have sex and you haven't asked me to use me? Like, how do I do that? Right. And so she was always sex forward, which is great, because part of my intention in calling, her to me was to find somebody who had a sex drive like I do. So when she and I connected, the sex was never, the volume was never an issue, right? Mm-hmm. So her ability to like step into that dominant space, it's really like changed the game, It's like I said to you earlier.
The same thing happened with me.
Yeah, I am absolutely susceptible to seduction. I absolutely am. Like that. Like if you seduce me, I'm fucking toast, right? Like I can't resist, right? And she sort of plays on that. Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
which I love the romance of it. Tell you the truth. I'm like, romantic at heart. So
We are romantics.
So this is my. So I'm going to ask you this. So one of the things I'm going to ask you a question. So think of in the back of your head, one of the most romantic, kinkiest things you've done. I remember, when we first started getting into, feminization and chastity and stuff like that. I was a suit and tie guy, corporate suit and tie. I have to go to work. I have to be a successful businessman. And yeah, but Fridays, Femdom Fridays. Yeah, so that means I have to wear garter belts and stockings at work under my suit and tie. Chastity device. I have to take pictures in the bathroom. So here I am in a corporate bathroom. People, but hey, how's the game, Bob? And I'm just sitting there.
Here's my junk.
But like I'm wearing garter belts and stockings, and garter belts, stockings, metal chastity device under a suit and tie in the middle of August in New Jersey is not the most
Brutal.
ideal.
Right.
There's a romance in that, and she would just send me porn, and just get me worked up and teased. There's a beauty to that. There's a romance to that when you know each other and when you just want to turn each other on. So, with that being said, tell me a romantic story about you two.
Well, I mean, I could tell you like just about any given day, right? Any given day, we're in a state of romance.
Well, I'll have to say this, and it's not just talk. We get done with scenes, and because we've learned to distill our presence so dramatically, like we are present. I'm not doing a laundry list in my head or thinking about what's next or what I'm going to have for dinner. We're just present. That we always get done and we're like, oh my God, that was the best scene ever. Like that was the best. That was such hot sex.
Yeah.
And then the next day we'll do it again.
Right.
Could be the same or different. And we'll say it again. Oh my God, this tops that.
Right. Now, if you want romance, every night we go to bed and she rolls over and I hold her breast and hypnotize her to sleep every night.
And I cup your balls.
And she cups my balls every night. Right. And we've done that for 4 years.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, like, we use that opportunity to experience gratitude.
We share gratitude.
We shared gratitude, right? Yeah. And the thing is that this relationship's created from nothing. So we literally have to create it newly every single day. So every day is a new experience in romance. She was having a hard day the other day. She came home to flowers, right? It's like there is not a day that goes by where we're not deeply enmeshed in some romantic aspect of our relationship, because it's kink forward, sex forward all the time. It never stops.
I've written you love notes every morning for almost 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something.
Wealth Asia.
How did
they ask? How did Master and Lady meet?
Oh, that's a story.
Yeah. So, after my wife and I split up, I took a deep dive into kink, like a deep dive. I played with some hard players, and I sort of got sorted out. Like, what is it I want, right? Like, what is it I want? And what I realized was what was missing was intimacy and romance. That's what was missing. Like these women would do anything, but what was missing was intimacy and romance. So I created a seeking post where I laid out what I wanted. I wanted a lifetime partner who was kinky as fuck, right? And she was looking for a lifetime partner who was kinky as fuck at the same time and in the same location. And so we started a conversation. And that conversation took about 6 months. We courted for like 6 months.
And that actually happens in kink. I mean, and it's amazing.
We didn't have a scene between March and October, right? We didn't touch each other physically between March and October.
We did meet 1 or 2 times during that time.
Yeah, we met several times for lunch, for dinner, for a walk. We sort of got to know each other. And then she had to put herself forward to be claimed, right? Because I wanted to claim somebody as my property. And she had to choose to put herself forward. And the point of time where we created that experience, I was at home and I was wondering, is she going to show up, right? Because it's a big step. She's stepping into a 24/7 power exchange.
Well, and there's a lot. A claiming ceremony is like intense, something I'd never experienced to that point. So it was going to be an intense thing for me to experience.
Yeah. So the meeting though was on FetLife. We just met, I posted a seeking post on FetLife and she responded.
Well, my part is different because I went looking for a dominant. So I chose the city, which was close to home, but far enough away because I was in the middle of a divorce kind of thing. And I started at A on dominance and just went through them. And if they had a dick pic, immediate no.
Oh yeah.
And if they hadn't written anything on their profile, immediate no. Or if they had not a picture of really them, immediate no. And I just was going. And then there'd be people that would be interesting enough that I would send a message to. And if those people immediately sent me a dick pic, no. If those people couldn't actually ask me a cogent question that had sense to it beyond I want to hook up, no. And I went all the thing to F. And I was like, then got disheartened because I'm a task. He could explain my obedience, but I'm a machine on task. So this is like hundreds and hundreds of people each night. And I got bored at F and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go to Z. And Z's weird because you get these weird letters like X and people try to be imaginative with their profiles. And I was like, this is fucked. So I kind of skipped to U and T. And I was really going to stop at this point. I was like, fuck it, this sucks. And I got to S and he happened to be SA. And when I read his profile, I actually stopped in my tracks. So I just read his profile and then I was like, I have to know who this guy is. And then I saw he was involved with a sub and he was doing all these things. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm any of that, but I can't stop connecting to what he wrote. Like what he wrote was for me. Like,
yeah,
he didn't know that yet, but he wrote that and that's me. And I just decided he's not available. I made that choice. Like he's not available, but I'm going to message him because if anything, I have to know this man and he might be able to direct me to someone who's similar to him. And I have to know this. Yeah, no, he didn't direct me.
I know exactly that feeling, because after after Lynn died, there was a sense of I needed to connect. I needed to find other kinky people. In the vanilla world, I couldn't be a part of it. Like I had to be a part of it, but like I wanted this world, this fetish, the world of fetishes and kink BDSM was something that I needed to be in. And FetLife was the major aspect of it. Being honest about it, being true, like I am what I am. You're gonna love me, you're gonna love me, you're gonna hate me, you're gonna hate me. It doesn't matter. Like but I'm to myself. I'm honest about it. And I hope you're honest about yourself too. So I could, and that's how I met Melissa, who I live with now. And and that's the beauty of it. That's awesome. So let me ask you this. Okay. What was let's see, look at the comments real quick. I did ask that question. Expat Wealth, I appreciate you guys being so open about things.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay. Expat Wealth Asia asks, would you consider having tattoos on each other to show your love for each other?
We've talked about this.
We haven't got there yet. I mean, part of it was you couldn't get tattooed easily during COVID, so we didn't take action. But there's definitely a conversation about that. There are definitely things we've talked about. So yeah, the chances are yes.
Yeah.
And Expat Wealth Asia says, I'm happy to know you are both happy together. Good luck to both of you. Lots of love from the UK. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
What happened now? This is something that's very interesting to me. But he says, cool. That he so this is something that's very interesting to me. So you go in, you're looking for a dom, Petra. You identify at the time as a masochist yourself.
I didn't know that yet. I think I
okay. Okay. All right, but you start this wonderful relationship.
Athletic career, I knew I was a masochist because I was a professional athlete, so I knew that.
Okay.
But I never combined those two with my sex.
So I'm really curious about what was the situation? What was the the spark that ignited you to explore femdom?
Oh.
So, okay, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So she went away. We had started this process of clitification,
Oh, yes.
right?
Yes.
So what that implies is she'd come home from work every day and I'd suck on her clit as a reward for working out. I wanted to be fit and healthy. So if she works out, I'm going to suck on her clit. That's what happens every day. And
By the way, I must say, let's just give a moment to say, cunnilingus is wonderful. Let's appreciate it.
this
Yes.
is not cunnilingus. This is clitification.
Clit focus sucking.
Yeah, this is pure
Oh,
clit.
okay.
It's clit worship.
It's clit worship, right?
Yeah.
Clit worship.
So-
yeah. All right, let's
so I
take a
started
moment
doing this with
to
her.
say that clit worshiping is wonderful, and
Yes,
Yes.
take a moment to acknowledge that.
So
Yes.
I started doing that with her, and then she had to go away for a conference or a work project for 2 weeks, right?
Oh my God.
And while she was away, I started surfing clit growth porn, like big clit porn, right?
Okay.
Right? And I was like, holy shit, these chicks have big clits. Like, I like that. And so I said to her when she got back, you know what? I want to like work on clit expansion. And she was like, I don't know. Because it's permanent, right? It's testosterone and it's permanent. And it's a phenomenon. And we had a lot of conversations about it and she accepted it. And as her clit got bigger, she started being like a little more aggressive. She's got testosterone on board now, so she's feeling a little more aggressive. And
Snow leopard.
yeah, she's a snow leopard. So what happened was we were having a conversation about her expression of herself as a sexual creature in the dominant realm, because she's been my submissive like day after day for 4 years, right? And so she said, sometimes I feel like this urge to like just be in charge.
To take you.
Right? And I'm like, yeah, okay, do it. Yeah. Let me clear some place for you to sit. And so we started having a conversation about that, and it was tricky, right? She was a submissive, and so it was tricky for her to go,
But we had
okay, but now
conversations about it.
yeah, but she was like, now I'm gonna like be a dominant. And we tried it once or twice, and then the other thing that happened was we got food poisoning, and we were like fucked up. Like we were in bed, fucked up with food poisoning.
Like a week.
We just like fucked up. And I was like too like fucked up to do anything, but I was horny. So I said, just sit on my face. And so she did. She got up there and she sat on my face and she started fucking my face with her big clit. Right? And I'm like, oh my God, that's hot. That is so hot. And so that's where it started. And then she's like, okay, I want to like do more of this. And so then we try to figure out different ways to do it. And she's got a whole bunch of outfits and things that she plays with. And so we got to where we said, okay, on Monday through Friday, you'll be Mistress Lady Petra. And on Saturday and Sunday, you'll be Slave Sable or call it Sable, right? Mm-hmm. So now she has like the freedom to just explore. And I said, I'll do anything. Like, I love you. And we have the same limits. Like, you can't really hurt me. I mean, you can hurt me, but, I'll talk about it, what I'm experiencing. And so just have at it. Go nuts.
I think the big thing for me was on the weekends, I'm in my hard collar. So sometimes I'm dominant on the weekends. Just depends on what we're up to. But the idea is, how do I delineate that so I have a clear, like, switch moment? Because it's very easy in my professional life to have a switch moment because I'm going to work and I'm professional and that's where I am. So something as simple as just putting these little Velcro cuffs on him at the beginning of the scene allows me to take control. It was like we had to figure out lots of things. Like we tried all these things. And then finally I said, I just need something that's a symbol that lets me know to myself I'm in charge.
Yeah, sure. And also lets me know, right? Like you're in my headspace now, right?
And so these little, we try to collar, and that didn't seem to work because I do a lot of face sitting and things like that, and it just is choking some. It's just not great. So we did.
What is your idea that like a strap on?
Well, we do that.
An extension of the clitoris.
Yeah, we do that too. But I'm growing a clit, so that's like really big focus. But like dominant play, I can do pegging and that kind of thing too. What's great too, though, is because it's a lot longer time that I'm in this dominant mode. If you think about Monday through Friday, but now because I'm a masochist, I get to just say, "You're going to now flog me, and you better flog me good." Do you know what I'm saying? So I still can get requests as I need as a masochist, that endorphin rush, but on my terms. Like, you're only going to use the paddle this time, or whatever, which when he does it, he goes through a series of implements. That's whatever he does to get me ready for caning for my marking scene. And that's fine. That's his deal, right? But when I'm in charge, I can just say, this is what we're doing. Or I can just choose to flog him. And somehow, as a masochist, even though I'm a sadist at that moment, it still ties into my masochism because I'm watching him experience the masochism. And so there's something about that I know people might say, well, that's just because you're a sadist. And I don't know. It reels me in a way that's my masochism.
No, I love that. It really sums up. It makes it for a very interesting dynamic. I wrote it down. You're going to flog me. You better flog me good.
Yes.
I think I'm going to use that as a quote.
Some
praise.
Yeah, she goes, "You're going to fuck me, but you're not allowed to come. Just fuck me.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck me harder.
I've been in that situation.
Right? Yeah. And it's fun to be able to be comfortable with your partner enough, even in this dynamic, to be able to say that. And we're on the beginning of exploring this. So it's just starting to unfold itself. And hey, we have confusion like any couple, like, wow, I don't know if that, when you ask me to do those things, if that means it's taking away from my other side of the slash, like I'm struggling with this. But that's the great thing about kink, is we talk about it. Unlike my vanilla relationships, we never talk. Everyone was silent. Like, don't talk about it. Don't say anything. And now we just frankly talk about it. Like, did that make you feel weird when I don't know, flogged your balls, or I pulled on them extra tight? I mean, I have nails. Like, I feel like I want to claw you, but I also want to be within our boundaries. And he's like, no, go for it. And so, and we have agreement that if there's something wrong, you say it. Right?
We're
not trying to hurt each other. We're trying to create a new journey together.
Yeah, we have a context for our relationship that there's nothing wrong. Right. So
no, it's wonderful. Like I said, relationship goals. Let's go to some comments. We got Nicholas Tanek is a god. Thank you very much.
Yay!
All right.
And then we have okay. Sensual Sada says, I'm a big fan of their podcast. Can you please ask how they debrief after a heavy impact scene?
It's a great question. Thank you for asking. A debrief is really just a conversation, right? So we sit together, we hold hands, we have a cocktail, and we ask how it went. Like, how did that go, right?
Or we just say that was so hot.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'll give you an example of where this led. So one day after her marking scene, and marking is where I cane her,
which is more high protocol for us.
High protocol and super intense, because I use a heavy cane and I mark her, and she's got a seasoned ass, so I have to mark her by hitting her hard enough to mark her so she bruises, right? So one day after that experience, I for the next few days, I noticed that her attitude was gradually declining. So she had like a high experience of endorphin chemicals, and then they gradually just sort of dissipated as the week went on. And I watched that happen for a couple weeks. And so one day I said to her, I think we need to do like a daily maintenance spanking, right? We need to spank you every day so that you keep those chemicals present, because you're just way more fun to be with when you're like in a good mood, right? And so she was like, I don't know if I want to be spanked every day.
Because I mean, it's an endurance event.
Yeah, it's an endurance, right? And so I started spanking her, and I was using different floggers, different implements. And in the debriefing, she said to me, look, I need you to like approach this from a very rhythmic standpoint, because I'm a runner and running is rhythmic, and I don't like high, low intensity. I like it rhythmic and the same, and just keep it going. And like that led to,
that opened the door for me as a masochist. Like that was the window of opportunity for me to then dive really deep into impact play.
Yeah. And I'm using a heavy buffalo hide flogger. And she says, well, could you do like 1,000 strokes? you know? And I mean, her ass is like red hot. And I'm talking like, you know, bright red, pink, hot, like heat waves coming off her ass. 1,000 strokes with a heavy flogger, right? And what that's turned into over time, because we had this conversation about that, she gradually started interacting with the heavy cane a little differently. And then the debriefing, one day during a scene, she asked me to give her another stroke. And so in the debriefing, I said to her, hey, let's talk about that. You know, let's talk about.
And I was in subspace. So I was like, I did?
Yeah. And I said, you know, maybe the access for you with caning is for me to just mark you once, and now you're marked. And then maybe you could have as many cane strokes as you want, right?
Which was a whole new thing for a sub. Is like, what?
Yeah. So
it
now
gave me power, which if you think about me as a switch, I didn't know this at the time. I was like, yes, I want to ask for my strokes.
Right.
I want to know what's coming.
Yeah. So now she can ask for up to maybe 35 or more heavy cane strokes, which is, you know, she's a heavy impact masochist.
I've already had it before I get caned. I'm easily over 1,000 strokes.
Yeah. Yeah. So the point is that the debriefing is a conversation about what we just did with a view to how do we expand ourselves as sexual creatures.
Make it better.
Yeah.
Expat Wealth asks, please describe your play space / dungeon.
Yeah, it's our living room.
It's our living room.
Yeah, we just play in the living room. Yeah.
Because we're 24/7. We live it.
Yeah.
And this is just where we play. We live and play in our space.
It's a great answer. It really is a good answer. He also asked, how old were you both when you had that light bulb moment about BDSM life?
Yeah, so I was like 16, and I grew up in South Africa where corporal punishment was a thing. And I used to sit behind this girl, Kathy, who used to sit on my foot. I mean, she used to sit on my foot, and she used to squirm her ass on my foot. And the teacher was pissed that she was doing this one day, so he called her up to the front, and he said, "I'm going to punish you." And she goes, "Well, if you're going to punish me, you have to cane me. You can't hit me with on my hand with a ruler, like the other girls."
Because they did different things for boys and girls.
Yeah. She goes, "Yeah, you have to cane me." And so this guy was like a sadist. He was like, "Okay, bend over," and he caned her, and she didn't say a word. He caned her 3 times hard, right? But her face turned bright red, and the whole class was like dead silent. And I'm aware that I've got like an erection, right? and she comes back to the chair, and my foot's still on her chair, and I start to take my foot off, and she shakes her head. No. And so I leave my foot there, and she sits down and has like this massive, loud orgasm, and the whole class thinks she's crying from the caning, but really she's having an orgasm. And I didn't really connect the dots. Like I didn't know that this was kinky. I didn't know that it was sadomasochism. I didn't have any understanding till later. I started reading about like all the porn I went after was like kink porn. So I was pretty young. I was like 16 years old when that happened.
For me, I was a late bloomer. I mean, as an athlete at that level, I'm sure I'm creaming myself all the time with hard workouts, but there's no connection that that's a sexual experience. But obviously I'm driven to the next practice, obviously. But in my vanilla marriage, I mean, I did a lot of kinky things without knowing they were kinky. Just because, I mean, literally he was in an undersexed marriage. I was in a hypersexed marriage where I was required to have sex daily. And that's for 30 years. So I was used as an object for sex, basically. And then I was told I was yeah.
How were you?
So like when he came to me, it was like, I said, I've only had one partner, but I have sex every day, like sometimes 2 and 3 times a day. So I don't know how to relate with my experience with where I'm going. So I don't have really a clue why I gravitate. But when I was breaking up my divorce and trying to end that, I didn't go to like Match.com or Tinder even or anything like that. Where I was going was free BDSM kinky chat rooms.
Oh, yeah.
I was interested in talking to dominance just naturally. I just couldn't figure out why I was doing that, but that drove me.
But when you said you were required to have sex 3 times a day, like, can you expand on that?
Well, it was an emotionally, and I would say with the sex at times physically abusive relationship. But that's all I knew. It was my first. I thought this is what everyone else is doing until we started meeting with other couples, and I was like, women would say, "Oh, I use sex as a tool to get my new car," and I was like, "What?" And he gets a blowjob on his birthday, and I was like, "What?" Like. And I started noticing even with my single friends, when we have girls' night, I was like, way more sex than everybody else. People were talking, and I was like, really? You don't know how to do that? Like, what? And I was just confused. And really much, he says I lived underneath a rock, but that's really what it was. I was extremely sexual, highly sexed, but not satisfied. Like I wasn't orgasming. I was going through the acts.
What was really cool about when we started in our relationship was she really wanted to explore sexuality, and I wanted to explore sexuality. Yeah. And she's a service submissive, so she really got that whole world of submission and dominance, right? And I just got to not, be with her in a way I didn't have to undo anything.
Untrain me. He didn't have to untrain me.
I didn't have to untrain her. I just got to get us aligned really fast. So a big part of our experience together as a loving couple is that we're incredibly aligned in every possible way, including our sexuality.
Yeah, which is huge.
It's great. Yeah.
That's really cool. We have a question from Central Says.
Yeah, it's called a shambok.
Right. Shambok. Yes, that's leather. Yeah. It's a leather.
It's a wicked hippopotamus skin whip.
Yes.
And it hurts. And the answer is yes. I've been hit with the shambok, and I hate them.
Have you used them?
Haven't used it in kink.
Yeah, we don't have one. Because I'm not a pain slut. I mean, I'm a masochist, so a lot of people might say, well, what you endure is pain. I get it, because I am a masochist, but I'm not a pain slut. I'm an endorphin endurance slut. I want to go I want to go hours. Like I can actually hypnotize myself with flogging and with paddling and spanking.
Oh, I can totally see that. Yeah, I get it. Especially because I'm a big fan of femdom.
Yeah.
A lot of there's the reputation and the endurance of just like,
oh yeah,
being submissive in that role and just
you
get hypnotized by it, and it gets extremely intoxicating. And then you're at some of that expat wealth Asia. Do you get involved with clips for sale or OnlyFans?
Well, we don't because I'm an exhibitionist. So everything we have is on FetLife all the time.
Yeah.
Like every day we're putting things on FetLife. So.
Yeah, no, that's great. And he continues, Lady Petra's marital life is interesting. We all have our own journey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, like so, I was married to the preacher's kid, and she didn't have sex.
So he was undersexed,
and she was oversexed,
and I was oversexed.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about cocktail hour, right?
Yeah.
What's the right way? When you're kinky, and when you're playing, what's the right way to mix alcohol with it, and what's the wrong way to mix alcohol with it?
So we never mix alcohol or drugs or anything like that, stimulant-wise, with our kink. That's why it works for us with our schedule. I'll come home from work because I work at a god-awful early hour, so I get home earlier. And we scene before we have dinner or pot or that kind of thing. And so I'm coming off of work. I haven't had anything. And so then we're just scening. Because our dive deep into subspace or the extension up into dom space is so extreme because we have like energy experiences. We can't take away from that with any stimulant or depressant. I mean, it's really, we have to be present.
Yeah. So the right way to use drugs and alcohol and kink is to never, ever do it.
No.
And the way we do alcohol is we have a cocktail after we scene while we're debriefing.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity for us just to be together. And we don't drink to inebriation ever. We just have a cocktail, right?
Hopefully a new one, if I can figure out a new one.
She's made over 600 unique cocktails.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The mixologist. That's great. I used to love drinking. Can't do it anymore. So I try to get drunk on cunnilingus. That's
right. Yeah, that's a great way to get drunk.
Fair project. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And awesome.
So all right. you're mixologist, correct? Is that the proper term? Mixologist?
Yeah, sommelier
What
too.
is the
but
what
yeah.
is or sommelier? What is the kinkiest cocktail?
Ooh. Okay, so it's not going to sound kinky, but I have to say this. So we've tried so many, and I've tried things that got into liqueurs and things that I've never would have in my cabinet, never thought. But I will say two things. Our favorite cocktail, because I think we've, after this much time, we have refined it to a point of exquisiteness. We can't even get a bartender to make us one this good. So we just try not to order it when we go out because it's something we do at home. But a dry martini, like gin martini, we have got that nuts on. Like, it's amazing. It's like the perfect drink.
And what makes it perfect is you can have it every day.
It is something we can have every day.
Some cocktails you just can't drink one of those every day because it'll get old. It's too sweet, or it's too this, or it's too that. That martini, it's like a perfect cocktail.
But I would say what I learned specifically was at this point in my journey, any cocktail that has Dawn Benedictine in it is probably the most stellar cocktail. Literally every cocktail we've had that has Dom Benedictine added to it makes it better. Everything is better with Dom Benedictine.
Yeah. And the best drink that we've ever had is the La Louisiane.
Oh yeah.
Which is an amazing drink from New Orleans. It's really incredible. When made correctly, it's perfectly balanced. It's absolutely delicious. It's got layers of flavor, and it's probably the most interesting drink we've ever had.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Shout out to my friends in New Orleans, especially Miss Genevieve.
There you go.
Brown. You are a goddess. Okay, that's kinkiest cocktail. Questions. Okay, so what are your romantic plans for the future?
In December, we're going to be recolored for the third time. So we've been together 4 years. She's been colored for 3 of those years, and we're coming up on our 3rd anniversary in December. And, there've been contextual shifts in our relationship. And so that's going to be a re-stimulation of our next experience. We had, for the first time since COVID, a trip out of town where we went down to New Orleans last week to teach at DumCon.
Yeah.
And that was our first really just out of town experience, hanging out, traveling together. And so we definitely see more of that in our future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, DomCon, we did a Sunday service show. We do a show called Sunday Service. It has nothing to do with religion.
Yeah,
That's the joke. And yeah, Genevieve from New Orleans, from DomCon, show just popped in. That was fun.
That's fun.
Yeah, check it out. Okay, we're winding up a little bit. And I'd love to have you on for like another part in the future.
Oh, sure. Of course, we love it.
Rapid fire recommendations, right? Ooh. They don't have to be kink related, but it's always good if they are.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Recommend a film here, and we'll give you. Lady Petra goes first.
Okay.
Avatar.
Avatar, and the reason I say that is because when they connect their tails together. When we're in a scene, there is an energy point where he's flogging me, so I can't see him. He's behind me. But the experience I have is in my mind's eye, imagine energy as color. So as the flogger comes down on my ass, and as he pulls away, we're not really pulling away. It's just this colorful thing that pulls away with the flogger as it comes back. So we're always connected, and it's an amazing experience.
Okay.
So I like Avatar.
Favorite film or recommend a film. It doesn't have to be your all-time favorite. It just recommend a film. It doesn't have to describe who you are as a person,
Well, my favorite film is Young Frankenstein.
I absolutely love Young Frankenstein. I love Young Frankenstein so much that when I was a kid, I started writing plays. I ripped it. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't claim it was mine. It was writing exercise. Made a play called Igor. It was all about Igor from Young Frankenstein, based on a character.
I love that show.
And for a Mel Brooks movie, not only is it I think it's one of the most underappreciated Mel Brooks movies.
Oh,
it's brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant.
It is absolutely brilliant, and it's like there's a poignancy. I almost was like, it chokes me up. That's how much I love it.
But everyone in it was great. Everyone was just great.
So great.
Even
Mel
Gene
Brooks,
Hackman has a small role.
Marty Feldman. Marty Feldman
Marty
is like,
Feldman was awesome.
like what up?
What
Yeah.
up? Yeah.
Look up. The horses, yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's funny.
Like, oh, it's so good. Okay. Recommend a song.
Well, actually,
Anything Pink
we
Floyd.
yeah. So the whole album, "Wish You Were Here," is
Okay.
probably our daily scene music, and we are just deeply into that shit. And we got to go see Brit Floyd, who came to Seattle recently, and they just duplicate the music, and it's really
It was
magical to have the light
magic.
show with the music.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But "Wish You Were Here," the album, is probably
That's our favorite.
yeah.
You like the Sid Barrett stuff?
Yeah, I like it all.
Yeah.
There's
I highly recommend earlier. Yeah.
There's a man called Dan Tracy from a band called Television Personalities. He wrote a song called "I Know Where Sid Barrett Lives."
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Okay.
just look it up. It's great. Anyone who knows the Sid Barrett story would appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
All right. So anything by Pink Floyd? I remember really enjoying the album Metal.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the soundtrack of my youth.
Oh, of course. Yeah. All right. Recommend a television show.
Westworld.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, it's matrixy, but also just the way of people dealing with themselves and their humanness.
Humanity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love that show. It's pretty interesting, and it's well done.
It's very well produced.
Yeah, it's well produced, and it's clever. And there's stuff that you don't know you're seeing in season 1. That when you go back and watch it after you've seen it all the way through, you start to see the threads.
You're like, oh my God, that's why it's happening. Because we're watching it again right now, and it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Okay. All right. Recommend a book.
So the book I would recommend is called A Short History of Almost Everything, or A Brief History of Almost Everything by Bill Bryson.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, look, I'm 40 years old, and I don't know the difference between a quasar and a quark. What I want to know is what we know and how we come to know it. So it's a short history of almost everything. It's really great.
Okay. Lady Petra.
So it's hard because I only read right now because I have to be a sub, or I'm a dominatrix in my spare time, or I'm working. So
it could be any book.
Yeah. So right now,
it could be an instruction manual.
I don't necessarily enjoy it because I have a lot of points against it right now. But it's interesting that what it brings up for us when we discuss it is the story of O, because we watched the movie. Now we're reviewing the book, and I'm living this lifestyle. So it's interesting. That obviously was a different era than I am, but it's interesting to reflect on, like, how would I react to having my labia pierced? And this is how I have to operate now. And it just brings up things for me on my own sexuality that makes me have questions and makes me have a discussion about it. So I like that it's stimulating that conversation with us, especially now where we're at now.
I love the story of how that was one of the, that was one of the books, especially like when 50 Shades of Grey came out. I'm like, just read the story of all. Just read the story of it. There's a whole history of it, like Pauline Riage, and taking the pen name and stuff like that. That is something very fascinating to me. I still think that they should make a movie, a story of O, about a sissy with all the a femdom version of the story. They would love.
Good idea. You should write it.
It'd be great.
You should write it.
It'd be great.
You should produce it. Let's do it. Let's get in this business. So, but there is a mini series of the story of O.
There is.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's I have it. It's like 6 or 8 discs, DVDs or something like that.
Huh.
And it's much more loyal to the book. It's the same story basically.
Right.
More authentic to the book. Definitely more graphic.
Yeah.
It doesn't have Udo Kier in it. I'm a fan of that. So check that out. Check out the story of O.
That's great.
What is your opinion of the story of O?
I like it. I mean, it's a love letter from the author
Yeah.
to her partner, and she's trying to show him what is going on in her head, right? And so it's a good representation of a submissive journey, but it's missing a lot of
It's missing pieces.
of what we know today. Like,
Yeah.
there's not really a good conversation about consent in the book. There's
No.
nothing about
no good consent.
yeah. There's a miss between submissive and slave. They don't really describe the difference.
And there's a blurring of that because, there's parts where she's slave and then she's not. And I'm like, wait a minute, when you're slave, you're really slave. Like, that's what's happening.
She's a slave, but she
But
spends
she
her
gets
time
to
in
go
the bath
shopping and she gets to go do this. And I'm like, it's not quite where it falls. She's more submissive. And so.
Yeah, so we haven't finished it. We're only in the third chapter. We're only a little bit through it. So,
so you haven't met, like, what was his name, Sir Stephen, I think his name is.
Well, we're into Sir Stephen. She just got pierced.
She got pierced and branded. That's where we are. So, we still have a lot of ways to go. But I mean, the way it lands for us, because of the way we interact with it, is we read a section, then we talk about it, and we talk about how she relates to it, how I relate to it. So it's just given us a view to things we are interested in and things we aren't interested in.
But, right? And it falls along the lines of our journey anyway, because we experience interviews with people that are into kinks that maybe we're not into, but it creates a conversation where we can say, yeah, it's still not my kink. Or wasn't that fascinating that they experience it that way? That's a neat way to look at it,
Have you read Venus in Furs?
Not yet.
No, not yet, but that's on the list.
That's something I have a love for that one too.
Yeah. Well, and if you read the Sleeping Beauty one, if you want graphic details of submission in, like, for example, pony play, which I didn't know about until I started reading that book, it's amazing. Like, it's very detailed, extremely well written.
Yeah. What's interesting is because we read these books one after the other, we read this book called Gordon.
Oh, that was excellent.
Which is actually a true submissive telling her actual story from 1945. And so you get to see the world through her eyes in 1945 as a submissive dealing with the dominant.
And it's real, like real kink.
It's real. It's real. Yeah.
It's amazing.
That was actually
book. Really good because it was not pretend. It was someone's life you're reading about.
I should send you my books. I have a book right now called Your Kinky Friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay. Recommend a meal.
Oh, meal. Okay. Well, I'm a bit of a chef, so I make a sauce that we serve with steak. That's a chimichurri sauce that I, chill down, I distill, and then I cook it down and add some butter until it's just like spicy deliciousness. And then when you make a steak, you make it to the right temperature, like medium rare, whatever, right? And that sauce with that steak it's probably the most satisfying culinary experience you can have. A perfectly cooked steak with a sauce that just goes on for miles. Yeah.
I introduced chimichurri to Melissa, and she was like, Where has this been all my life? I was like, you gotta know more people, man.
Yeah, but I've taken chimichurri to a new level, right? I've turned it into a refined sauce.
Oh, it's amazing.
That sounds amazing. That I want to get the recipe for that.
Yes.
Because and you definitely should make a kinky cookbook. Because when I was going through my liver problems, my transplant, the doctors even said, food saved your life. Yeah, of course, the surgery does, and of course, medication does. But I wouldn't have made it that far if I didn't keep my eye on nutrition. I had to cut out many foods. And chimichurri actually was something that added flavor to a diet that I couldn't have, which is, so I have a love for chimichurri. Definitely. Okay. Stranger Unknown asks, hey, Lady Petra, what's the most brutal ball busting you have done?
Brutal.
Talk about the dude.
So early on, when I was not identifying as a dominant, we started exploring with me
Well, let me
Oh, yeah.
let me back up. So
Yeah.
so when I met her, I was living in this fantasy of her cuckolding her husband. Like I wanted to be
No.
I wanted to be her bull, right?
Yeah, no.
And she didn't want that. So when she came in, I'm like, I sort of wanted you to cuckold him, you know. And she's like, no, no, no. I said, but maybe get somebody else to cuckold, right? So
Right.
we started looking for somebody that she could cuckold.
And so I met with a few people, but this one guy was like, you know, people are posers all the time. They say they're going to do shit and then they don't really do it. But I ended up meeting him, and like, I think I had him, I went to a bar and sat and waited, and I gave him a directive to go into Victoria's Secret and go buy some underwear and
For himself.
And
To
he
try it
needed
on.
to go try
Yeah.
it on. He needed to ask to try it on in the dressing room. And he just got high order. And I was like, well, he's kind of a wimpy guy about this. And then I had a butt plug with me, a new one, of course. And I had it. He finally met me at the lounge. And I said, you need to go put this on and put the underwear on that you just bought. And he put the underwear on, but couldn't do the butt plug for whatever his lame reason was, whatever. And I mean, I got him the smallest bulb possible. Come on, man, just stick in your mouth, stick in your ass. Okay. So, and you're talking to someone who wears a butt plug daily. So like for hours and hours. So I'm just like, don't be a fucking wimp.
Are you wearing one now?
So then I had him take me to another bar to have a cocktail, and he was getting all shifty, and I was going to have him go into a dressing room and do something as a task just while I sat there and had a cocktail. And he just like folded like a house of cards. Like it was too real for him to be in this. So I said, well, then you're going to walk me to my car right now because I'm leaving. And so he walked me to the car, and then he was like panicky because now it's ending. The reel's ending. And he goes, oh my God, I just want you to kick me in the balls. And I'm like, and at that point I had never really done that or experienced it. But I wasn't afraid of it, but I was like right here, like now. He's like, oh yes, I want you to kick me in the balls. And so I had him spread his legs beside my car, and I had heels on, and I just kicked him in the balls like 3 or 4 times. And then he's like wanting to adore me. And I'm like, fuck you. You can't even handle, you're not obedient. Like, this is fucked. And I said, I'm leaving. And I just left. And that was kind of like my opening experience. Otherwise, now, if I talk about CBT, I'm more into, who was the guy we interviewed? Was he from Norway or?
Yeah, we interviewed this guy from Holland.
Oh, yeah.
Who does amazing cock ties. Like amazing.
Like CBT, but in an artful way, like amazing stuff.
Okay.
And I'm like totally into that. Like that's, yeah, you let me have an hour with you and strap your cock in these different positions and your balls stretched and all these things. Yeah, I'm into that. That's like art. It's art. It's like totally wonderful.
It's cock art.
Yeah. And yeah, I can do that. I mean, I can kick people, but I don't know. It's just not, it doesn't do anything for me, really.
Yeah, right now she flogs me, but not enough for it to be really old CBT.
Yeah.
Expat Wealth Asia asks, how has your mental health and well-being improved since you've been together?
Well, you know, I tell you, both of us are experiencing bliss in our relationship. Yeah. Both of us come from a lifetime of feeling lonely and ashamed, right? And we're both completely self-expressed as sexual creatures.
Yeah.
And we are absolutely a stand for each other's like well-being. And the impact of that is we're just happier than we've ever been, ever. So the answer is absolutely yes. Our mental health and well-being has improved dramatically.
Way
dramatically,
more.
yeah.
Way more.
Okay, and then we have stranger unknown. You don't have to answer this. Lady Petra, how old was the youngest sub that you...
Not relevant.
It's not relevant yet because I have a foot fetish grouping that's following me, but it takes a certain person that I want to trample.
She's what's called a demisapiosexual.
I take more work than that.
Yeah.
I have to have relatedness and connection to have any drive to want to play with somebody.
Yeah.
And so just like that's why dick pics turn me on. I mean, I like dicks, no problem with that. I like the pictures of them. I like seeing them, but that is not a way to break through to me. You have to have intelligence.
I don't understand the logic of it, or your profile of just a dick pic. It doesn't matter how great you think your dick looks. It's still that's your profile pic. So that's who
this
you
is the way
are.
sex happens, right here.
Sex is
Yeah,
up here.
exactly.
Yeah,
I don't
you better be
understand the
able to have
logic
a
of how,
conversation
like, you
with
really
me.
think that would work? You really think you're
No.
going to attract
Well,
people
and then
just
and
from
then
your
I think men submissives think they need to do this whole begging, adoring thing conversation all the time, and I'm always like, wow, that gets old really fast. Like,
Yeah.
talk to me, like, have a conversation. I want to know what you're interested in. I want to know what movies whatever, a real conversation.
Yeah.
Because then I'm turned on, and then I'm like, yeah, now I want to hurt you.
Oh, I want to write that down. Now turned on. Now I want to hurt you. I got
In
some
a
good
good
ones.
way.
I got some good ones. We'll go over the quotes after we're done.
In a consensual way.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Oh, yes. Keep in mind, everybody, I have to say, this is all consensual. This is all safe, sane, and consensual. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Lady Petra's Playground. Tell us all about that.
So we started on this journey, and then at some point after the pod was going on for a while, we're like, gee whiz, like we felt like we opened Pandora's box in the sense of that we had access to something that was never there before. And we were like, okay, let's look at this closely. And I know that
we're both lifetime coaches.
Yeah.
We've been coaching our whole lives. And so we looked at what we've created, and we thought, how do we distill that into workability to be able to gain access to what we've gained access to by having somebody accept that the look is inward. It's not outward, it's inward to discover what your motivations truly are. And so we built a whole training program that takes a person from not knowing anything about themselves
or really knowing,
not really truly knowing, to where they really get to understand who they are, what they want, what they're seeking, and then how to actually ask for it. So the purpose is to have somebody who goes through that program end up in a relationship like this, where it's just fucking amazing.
I mean, it was kind of like,
right?
We said, wow, if I hadn't met you or whatever, and someone showed me this, an access to finding you, I want that. And that's what we hear all the time. I want what you have. I want what you have. Well, people don't like to hear the word work, but it does take work to build a dynamic or any relationship. You have to be all in.
Yeah,
you
but
have to create it every day.
The work isn't like you're out there doing work. The work is you're searching inside your head for your motivations, right? You actually have to get present to who you really truly are as a creature.
I really like sniffing panties, but I haven't told anyone. But now I'm going to put myself out there and say I really like to do that, because that's how you're going to find the person that goes, oh my God, I love that you sniff my panties.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. I thought I was when I was like really trying to find myself, and going through puberty, knowing I was kinky, I thought I felt the most alone ever.
Yeah.
Because I thought that, and although I was successful with in dating and I always had a girlfriend, I always but I also felt very alone because I had these thoughts, and I thought that oh, this is too weird. And then love really saved it. I was always kinky, but like I never like pushed it to the limit, like of thinking that like, oh, I'd wear a chastity device for the woman I adore, you know what I mean, or something like that, or yes, I own a French maid outfit too. Or stuff like that.
So that's
Stranger Unknown asks.
Yeah, that was the generation of the Lady Petra Playground.
Yeah.
And we have things on there that you can do, like you can buy her a coffee, or you can
buy me coffee.
You can do the training. You can
watch my kinky postings. You can, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a different expression beyond FetLife for us.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have submissives now, like who are actively?
I have a lot of people that I would call in the queue, waiting for my vetting. Okay. Some people are patient, some people are not, and the non-patient ones, great. That just allows me not to deal with mess.
Yeah, just remember her access is alignment.
Yeah, so I originally just put myself out there as I'll just discipline and train, which I can do. However, my life, I'm a submissive and a dominant with this man. And so my life is fucking busy. So whoever comes into my life has to be part of my life. They can't fuck around. They can't waste my time. I can't have a poser
my
that
cardinal
wants to
rule.
role play.
My cardinal rule: never waste the dom's time.
No, never waste our time ever.
Get it on a shirt, put it on a mug.
Yeah,
Make an inspirational poster out of it.
I'm looking for what people would call a unicorn, where in the sense that I want someone who wants to be part of the dynamic we have, and that they're not primary. We're primary. We're the dominants.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. And you want to be in service to us. Well, then that has value to me as a dominant. That's where I could see that working. But otherwise, why would I need one? I'm fulfilled. Like I get to go on both sides of the slash. How great is that?
Yeah, definitely. Very, very lucky. Okay, you want to play a game and then we're over.
Yes.
Okay. This is I'm sure you may have taken a creative writing class or did some creative writing or something like that.
Yeah.
This is use a kink or fetish. I'm going to say it in the kink or a fetish. You have to use it in a sentence. Make up a sentence. Right? Okay. There's no wrong answer. And so in other words, but you could change the tenses and everything. So let's say if I say chastity, it could be chastised. It could be.
Yeah.
Got it.
You understand? But to set up, who wants to go first? We'll go back and forth. But who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
You go first, and then Lady Petra goes second. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Strapped in. Got your helmets on.
Ever ready?
Ready.
All right. Here we go. All right. Floggers.
I love when there's a balanced flogger. Like I love it because I can go for a really long time with a balanced flogger and I can light her ass up.
Okay. Lady Petra.
Mm-hmm. Oh, flogger for me too. Okay.
Yes.
I'm really getting into flogging balls, especially as they hang down. When they're free hanging, there's something very hot. I don't know why, but hot about flogging balls.
I'm gonna write that down too.
Flog hanging balls. Okay, good.
No, I like that. I'm getting really into flogging balls.
That's a good one.
Yeah, my balls.
Good one.
Yes.
Right. Chastity.
Yeah, I'm not inclined to be in chastity because, like, I love fucking her, and I can't do that if I'm in chastity.
That's why I need a cuckold. Chastity.
Chastity.
Yeah, chastity. I think the people designing chastity belts for women are men, obviously. And do they understand that our holes are not all just like one way, like this many centimeters away or this far? Or like, why is the asshole hole this big? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, they need a woman to have it sized particularly for her because women are all built different. Some are more forward with their vaginas. Some are underneath themselves. It's just, we've tried chastity belts because I was curious for myself because I'm pretty obedient. So I think I could do that. I've done mental chastity for a long time and that I'm obedient. So I just do it. It's not a problem. But chastity belts, although intriguing, God, they let me down. They really let me down.
For me, I enjoy chastity play. It's not something I want to live 24/7. But the reason I enjoy it is, first of all, I never would want to be 24/7 ever.
Yeah.
I like the connection and the bond between the dominant and the key holder, but also the release is amazing. Think about like holding your breath or going underwater, see how long you can go, and then coming up and how alive you feel when you could finally breathe.
Yeah.
That's the high in itself. So okay, so we did chastity. All right, leather.
There's a lot about leather in the sort of leather community that's very appealing about creating relatedness as a family that we don't really know anything about here on the West Coast, but we hear about it a lot. And there's a part of leather that's very intriguing, the smell and the sort of look, the Tom of Finland kind of look. but it's not something we've ever played with.
I digress. I love leather. And I love sitting on your face in my leather chaps because I ride a motorcycle.
Oh, that's true. We have done that. Yeah.
I do love leather.
Yeah.
There's something great about
Motorcycles,
the smell. And
sports bike or Harley?
It's a V-Star, a YZ V-Star. So it's a cruiser.
A cruiser. Okay.
Yeah. It's a 950.
So the next thing. Garter belts.
Ooh.
Garter belts. Yeah. She looks hot in the garter belt. She really does.
I love garter belts. Wow. I love them.
4 straps or 6?
I love, you know what I do? I love them. And I do think I like putting them on men because there's something naughty about that. The reason I like it is it's naughty, not because I necessarily think it's attractive or whatever. It's a power thing. I'm definitely into power things. So it's a naughtiness.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah. And okay. So all right, we did garter belts, butt plugs.
Ooh.
Yeah. So for me, her in a butt plug when she's away from home is a way for us to stay connected.
Mm.
And so it's been a really important part of our life together. She's worn a butt plug every day, all day long for 4 years.
Yeah. And I would say I figured out, like I went through lots of different butt plugs to find the right one, just like people go through cages, and what works for me and the technique of how to be healthy and safe. And I did a whole like write-up on butt plug safety and how to wear them for long term. And I think I'm a pro at butt plugs. I think I'm a pro at that. Yeah.
Are you wearing one now?
No, because we're together. So I've got my collar on. It's only when
Okay.
our protocol is when we are separate.
Mm-hmm.
I wear a butt plug away because he's with me then.
Okay. And then water sports.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Water sports, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that was part of my claiming. One part of our scene was him. Part of his marking is to piss down my throat. So
And in her ass.
in my ass too.
Yeah.
So that's part of the marking, as well as being caned. But that was part of it.
I interviewed. Shout out to Lunatica from France. She's a hardcore dominatrix in France. Got tattoos of upside down crosses on her face.
Oh,
You know, and in the chat, someone she's a force of nature. Shout out to her and Inanna Justice and Miss Kim Rubb from the UK. I love you, Miss Kim Rubb. Anyway, she goes. So someone in the chat goes, "How do you start off a session?" She goes, how do you establish dominance in a session? She goes, the first, and in the most adorable French accent, she goes, "The first thing I do is I piss in their mouth, and then I start the session."
Yeah. Yeah. Queenie. Yeah.
That's how she starts it. Okay. And finally, we reach the end. Scat.
Okay. No scat.
Not into scat. And I think mostly I had kids, so I'm changing diapers. That just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah, this is
too close to home.
It's a hard limit for both of us.
Yeah.
All right. Living or dead, right? And there could be separate answers. Who would you have loved to do a scene with? Who would you love to do a scene with or have
God, I've never thought about this.
Living or dead?
Living or dead?
Jimi Hendrix.
Okay. Yeah. Cool scene.
I think Raquel Welch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Saffer, Lady Petra. Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Please take this time.
Thank you so much.
Please take this time to promote everything and anything you want to promote. Your podcast, playground.
All right, I'll tell you this.
Any projects you're working on, anything.
So this is worth talking about. So we met the manufacturer of this thing called the Slub, SLUBB, through the podcast. We actually interviewed a ball buster in England, and she said, she's talking about how she's like ball busting in a hardcore way. And I said to her, well, do you do anything that's like pleasurable? Is it all just ball busting? And she goes, well, yeah, but not in the way you think. Like I have this masturbator called the Slub that is super intense male masturbator. Like it even makes flaccid men come. So I looked up the manufacturers, and I met this guy, Michael, in Germany, and the story came around, and we became the distributors of the Slub. So,
In US.
so the slub is a male masturbator. You know how the Hitachi goes up to like 7,000 RPMs?
Yeah.
The slub goes up to 18,000 RPMs. And it's actually the first true male cock masturbator where you get like a wraparound in your cock and it's like intense vibration. You have two sets of nerves in your cock. You have the erection nerves at the bottom, and then you have the ejaculation nerves at the top. And this thing like makes you super engorged, and it makes you
Way
potentially
engorged. Like I've never seen someone get so engorged from that.
And then it makes you come, and we sell it at
it makes you come quick.
Yeah.
And it's brutal if you're a dominee. I mean, you just tell them you can't come, and it's brutal. I mean, it's going to make you come. They're going to come, and then you get to discussion them and all that wonderfulness.
You can get them from us.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah. It's slub, SLUBB-USA.com.
Yeah.
Right. And you can always reach either of us. I'm Saffermaster at Gmail. She's Lady Petra Playground at Gmail.
We're on FetLife as Saffermaster and Lady Petra, underscore Petra.
Yep. And of course, you should always listen to the Kinky Cocktail Hour. We put out episodes like 3 or 4 days a week.
And we're on every directory, so you can find us anywhere.
Yeah. Yes. I found you on iTunes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Rated on iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating. Push it to the top.
Right on. Yes. Yes. Support kinky creative people.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Support. We need you. A lot of us are doing it for the love, and we're not doing it for money.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not getting paid.
Yeah. Right. And if we do, like, we deserve it.
Yeah.
Always.
It's true. Oh my God. So it's stay on the line real quick after, because we got some things to talk about, which I think is very important.
All right.
But
thanks for having us on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure. This is going to be a good weekend. It's Friday night.
Yeah.
Listen to Kinky Cocktail Hour. It's great. I just did a show and for them. And these two wonderful people will be back. William Best says, thank you.
You're welcome, William.
And it's getting late, my friends. My Dom is calling me.
Yeah.
My Dom is calling me. Remember the cardinal rule, everybody. Be cool, be kind, and keep an open mind. Take care.
Nice. Thank you.